Hey everyone, this is Pastor Pat coming to you from my home. This is my office slash music room. I wanted to share a few things with you about what is going on in our world and how we can relate that to what God is doing. So I want to kind of begin with this. When life doesn't make sense, because there are a lot of things out there in the world right now that just do not make sense about what's going on. Conflicting reports in the news, leaders of different countries giving all kinds of different input about what's going on in their country, and yet it seems at times different than what's happening here. So I wanted you to kind of go through an exercise with me. I'm going to have you fill in the blank. I'm going to make a statement. You fill in the blank if you can. When life doesn't make sense, fill in the blank. When life doesn't make sense, what do you do? Where do you go? How are you going to fill in that blank? How have you filled it in the past in your life? How are you going to fill it in now? And then also in the future as we continue to deal with an uncertain world. I think it's a great question right now, one that maybe we don't think about on a regular basis, but we're there now. So I want to offer to you, for your consideration, my top 3 of how I fill in that blank. When life doesn't make sense, these are the 3 things I usually do. The first is this. I ask the Creator of life. When life doesn't make sense, I go to God. Bottom line, I always have in my relationship with God. When there are things that I didn't understand about the world, about my life, about people, about anything concerning life, and everything concerning life, I went to my best friend. I went to God. I asked him, what's going on? Why is this happening? What's the gist of all of this? Is there a plan? Is it just happening? Is this just part of a fallen world? Is there some way in which you're going to intervene? How is this all going to affect me? All of this is a conversation that I've continually had throughout my over 40 years of walking with the Lord. And it's just been wonderful because I have always received an answer from God about what is actually happening in the world. So I want to point you to that very same thing that I found great comfort, not only just comfort, but I've also found the answers that I'm looking for. When life doesn't make sense, I ask the Creator of life, the one who brought it all into being. Let me tell you something. He knows a lot more than Wikipedia and Google search. He can do more than all of those combined. Not only that, he doesn't just provide information for you. He also gives to us the answers that we need. And that's what we're looking for. When life doesn't make sense, ask the Creator of life. Here's my second one. When life doesn't make sense, do not be afraid. I want to give to you just kind of a sample of some of the Bible verses that encourage us to not be fearful about our world when it doesn't make sense. I want you on your own to kind of take these and maybe read them, meditate upon them, take a few moments and allow God to minister to your heart as you read these scriptures. I'll call them out, give you a little bio about what was happening during the circumstances and the historical context. The first one is Exodus 20:20. Nation of Israel had just been delivered out of bondage, over 400 years of bondage, of slavery in Egypt. For the first time in their entire life, they're free. They just came through the Red Sea and a miraculous parting of the Red Sea by God. And now here they find themselves at Mount Sinai, and the future is unknown. They have no idea where they're going. God knows, but they don't know. God is going to direct them. Moses has gone up on the hill on Mount Sinai. He's disappeared. Nobody knows where he is. And the people are there down, at the foot, the base of the mountain in this desert that they've never been a part of. They don't know how they're going to, have water, have food, none of this. It's all uncertain. And it is in that moment that God speaks to them. Exodus 20:20, go look it up. The next one is Joshua 1:9. Israel's just about ready to go into the promised land. And again, they don't know what's going to happen. All they know is God's called them into this land. He's going to give it to them. What they do know, however, is that the land is filled with Amorites and Canaanites and Perizzites and mosquito bites and, all these adversaries and enemies that they're going to have to fight in order to take the land. And they're going to have to trust God that they're going to be victorious over that. So he says to them, he says first to Joshua, and then Joshua relays that to the nation of Israel, don't be afraid. Joshua 1:9, look that up. The next one is Psalm 27:1. When you think about the Psalms and all the trials and tribulations that David went through in his life, remember he was a shepherd, he was a warrior, he at times was in conflict with the king of Israel, King Saul. He became a king himself. There were wars that had to be fought. He had to lead the nation politically, economically, and militarily. This man had to really just do it all. Can you imagine the weight that was on his shoulder about not only the nation of Israel, but also what the other nations of the world might be doing, what they might be plotting? And in Psalm 27:1, David once again turns to God. He asks the creator of life, what's going on? And how is this all going to work out? And can I trust you? Psalm 27:1, read that. The next one is Isaiah 54:4. Israel, in the land of Israel, is in rebellion against God. They don't want to follow God. They don't want to walk after God. Gee, it kind of sounds like a nation I might know and we might know, right? They don't know what to do. They're confused. They've been going the wrong way. And here, God comes to them and speaks through the prophet Isaiah. Next one's Matthew 8:26. Jesus is in the boat with the disciples on the Sea of Galilee. A storm comes up. You know the story. The last one is Joel 2:21, in which God points through the prophet Joel, points the nation of Israel to remember what God has done in the past so that they can then understand and have confidence not only in their present situation but also in the future and what would occur in the future concerning the nation of Israel. Joel 2:21 says, be calm. I'm working it all out. Finally, the third and last thing I want to share with you might be one of the biggest. Trust God. Proverbs 3:5-6. A great encouragement during times like this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. We need to remember God sees everything. He sees the big picture. We see a little small picture of our lives and maybe the few who are around us that we're associated with. God sees the whole picture from beginning to end, the Alpha and the Omega, and he has a plan. I truly believe that God has brought the nation of the United States of America into existence for his purposes, for his glory. We've seen some of that as we've been able to spread the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the world, and I believe God is going to continue to work in and through our nation. I do not in any way feel like God has abandoned us. So let's trust him. Let's trust him with all of our heart. Let's trust him with all our soul. Let's trust him in all of our ways. And let me guarantee you this, he is big enough to take care of the whole world. God bless you.